Welcome back, guys. My name is Demitry Sebastian.
And I'm Wes Kendall.
And we are back in session where your fitness and lifestyle questions are answered and bro science is put to the test.
Yes.
I have an announcement for everyone, our viewers. Salias has taken the first step into the worst part of his life. Until it gets to the best part of his life.
Oh, wait, I'm not allowed to swim.
You're on the nice boy clock. Salias has started going to the gym.
10 minutes.
He's going about 2 to 3 times a week.
Yes,
He's working out with me.
I love that.
We're keeping it a nice, easy split.
You're being his professor?
I am his professor.
Yeah.
And I take a little bit of credit in saying that he has had a great time every time he goes, and then the next 2 days, he complains massively.
Right.
So basically, I feel like I'm doing the exact right thing for him. So every time he walks in there, he's like, man, this is a great time. And he almost watched me smack myself in the face with a weight, stuff like that. We're keeping it light. We're keeping it fun. There's some violence there for him.
You did smash your face with a weight.
Oh, lightly.
on the incline?
We lowered the weight. We were doing pull downs, and what happened was I just didn't change it because this is like a lot lighter than mine. I sat down expecting my weight,
And you went fast.
and I didn't actually hit myself, but I bumped myself. But like if I had like actually not been paying attention, it would have been right to the face. Like I might have lost my like 2 front teeth.
Yikes.
But so I feel like it's been good. How do you feel? Do you feel like a better person? Do you feel like you're growing?
Oh, dude, I feel like shit.
It's been 3 days?
I'm absolutely growing.
Yeah, he's growing. He's getting stronger because you have a job where you walk around a lot, but now you're gonna be able to flex on him, and we can get you to your Brad Pitt Fight Club body sooner than later.
Yeah, my back just hurts the entire time. That's fine.
It's fine. Next week, it's going to be your legs.
Yes, exactly.
And then we'll find another thing for you to
And
hurt.
your shoulders.
And then you're going to realize, and Wes had the best statement of all, he's just like, yeah, welcome to it. Like, we're all sore all the time.
If you do it right, you'll be sore for the next 20 years.
Yeah, like, I don't think I've been, like, fully, like, the last time I felt totally fresh was right after the gyms reopened.
Yeah.
For Corona, I was just like, oh, wow, I feel awesome. Like, my body doesn't hurt at all. And I got in there, and I was, like, a little bit weaker. But I was like, man, like, everything just feels so good. I'm not sore. I'm not tight anywhere.
Right.
Which I'm sure there's someone out there who's just like, Demitry, what could you have been doing better that makes it so you're not sore all the time? And that's actually what we're talking about today.
Yes,
is
exactly.
how Demitry and perhaps Elias can become better people by actually maybe trying to touch their toes every once in a while.
Stretching also not only for flexibility, but stretching for recovery.
You
want to talk about that too?
Have you stretched at all since we've started?
I have not at all. Also, like,
Have you stretched at all?
stretching in general.
Do you see a lion stretch 4 takes down a gazelle?
I barely touched my shins.
Can you touch your toes? We talked about this. Was it not last week, but the week before? Like, you actually can touch your
I
toes.
put my palms on the ground.
And Elias and I
But I have
cannot.
short legs.
The only thing I remember,
Wait, let's see it.
Okay.
we have
Do
the
it.
ability. We have the ability.
Well, I just did legs. I hope I could do this. I hope this is not an embarrassment.
Oh, maybe. Oh, your drink's about to go. Up.
My drink's gonna.
Yep, there it is.
I'm not warmed up, but
Okay, he can kind of do it.
He can do it.
He can do it.
No, you can do it.
I can't put them on the ground.
Holy
right now. Close.
He's basically a
For
gymnast now.
2 days after leg day, that's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. He's basically a gymnast. Him and every 13-year-old girl are now able to. Can you do a round off back handspring too?
What? What?
Well, you know what? We're gonna need to go talk to your gym instructor because clearly you were
missing some marks.
falling behind your cheerleader counterparts.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, clearly, you need to update Demitry on his
Stretching
stretching
because you can't update something that doesn't exist. It's like, oh yeah, I need to update my computer. You don't own a computer. It's like, oh, that's I don't have it. So I guess we're gonna be talking to me and Elias about ways that we can actually, maybe one day touch. Because here, let me tell you the extent of the stretching instruction that I remember from life.
Yeah.
Because I have all the tools.
Right.
I know all the things. I just don't do. I remember from 6th grade, our teacher was like, when you're watching cartoons in 15-minute blocks, every time there's a commercial, you should try and touch your toes or do the whole bend over thing.
Yeah, do some sit-ups or something.
Exactly. And I was just like, cool, I'm going to not do that. I think I did it like once, and I was like, I don't know how old you're in 6th grade, 12. I did it like once, and I was like, yeah, I'm bored of this. I'm going to...
Well, yeah, I feel you. Those routines where you're supposed to do it while you're watching TV or do it like while you're brushing your teeth, do calf raises or anything like that. It's like always lose track of those.
It's slightly over optimistic. I feel like it's if you don't actually make the time and set because that's what when it says like, oh, well, like intuitive eating.
Yeah.
And there's cake all around you. You're going to intuitively eat that cake. If you're watching TV and you're sunk into the couch, oh yeah, just stand up and do sit-ups. Like, let me tell you, every time I sit down, my likelihood of standing up goes down.
I agree.
So the best thing to do is stand up, do the thing, and then go sit back down again. And then you're allowed to just do that.
I like you can get away with this for a while. You can do your stretching portion, and we can talk about this later when we get to the topic, but you could do a dynamic stretching routine before your workout, which covers a lot of bases as far as like being flexible enough to not get injured and, recovering from your workout to a degree, especially like legs or upper body, stuff like that. So, there's things you could do before you get to like the part, in the gym when you went there for, before you do chest, before you do legs, that can, set you up for success. And then that way you don't have to risk, oh, I'm too tired, I got to leave, and then forgetting it.
Well, let's go and roll right into it then. Let's start with the recovery. We've talked about how we're all sore boys. Everything in our life is falling apart because, you have to actually do stuff.
Yeah, actually, recovery sucks.
Yeah, it's terrible.
As someone who has to stand for 12 hours.
Yeah, apparently we're ignoring the nice boy clock. Is that what we're doing?
We're past 10 minutes.
No, we're not. Continuing, though.
Yes, so... well, for recovery, especially if you have to stand and be on your legs, like after leg day, I would say, getting a little bit of cardio in, or getting, a walk in at least or something, either that night or the next day goes a long way. It probably cuts your recovery in half, unless you went so hard on leg day that, you just obliterated them, which could happen your first 2 weeks of doing it. And that's it. You might be kind of, but...
Actually, that's a good question. So you can be new, and the stretching, it's like nothing's going to save you. Like you just have to deal, like you're breaking fibers.
Or if you do something so extreme out of your norm, you could do all the recovery measures, and you're still going to be pretty messed up for a few days.
Yeah.
It's like there's no way around it. But you're just paying the price for like pushing yourself that hard, and that's your body going through its natural recovery phase.
So, okay. Well,
so I just have to hurt.
Well, there's things you could do to make it better.
There are things. So we'll say you're doing your regular stuff, you're working out, you're a little bit newer maybe, you're getting used to it. Are we looking at static, dynamic? We're talking after you work out, maybe either after the workout or at home. What should you be doing?
I would say what you could do is after your workout, get your protein shake in, then go home, stretch like statically for, say you did legs, do like a, quad stretch and the leg stretch and the glute stretch. And then after that, do like the foam roller after. Yeah. If you do it in that order, then first you do the foam roller, then you static stretch. Sorry, I got that mixed up. If you do it in that order, you put yourself in the best position to recover and not get tight and not, have muscles that are going to be overly stimulated so they don't recover. So that will help you be less sore. And then another thing you could do is do the cardio that night or the next night so that you can flush any waste out of there.
I'm aware of a lot of people who do it right before bed.
Yeah.
That's usually like because a lot of people, it's always like, okay, no electronics before bed, this, that, and the other. Like, you shouldn't be having a screen right in front of your face. So what they'll do is they'll even be able to, like, they'll have a TV in the room or in the living room, what have you. So it's not a phone in your face. Right. So you can watch like your YouTube video or whatever, and you do your stretches, and then you roll straight into bed after that, or you do your shower and then go to bed. I feel like that's kind of like killing two birds with one stone.
It's not a bad idea.
I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, if I was going to come up with, because the thing is, once I get home from the gym, if I'm either eating or I'm pretending I don't have responsibilities for, 4 hours. Right. That's usually what ends up happening, and that's because my gym experience is usually like pretty hardcore. Like I use a short amount of time, so I want to knock it out. Yeah. So like brain's spent by the time I get back. But if you give yourself the moment, and then it's like creating the ritual, right? Right. So you can actually do those stack stretches. As far as like cardio, is it light cardio? Are we like doing this as like our actual cardio? Because like, should I go to the gym and then go and run a couple miles?
Well, I like to save my cardio.
I like to save my cardio.
Yeah, my cardio for cardio. I like to save my harder cardio sessions for upper body days. Yeah. And then my easier cardio sessions for like the day after leg day or even leg day itself, depending on what you have time for. That being because like after a leg day, you just kind of want to flush some blood in and out of there, recover a little bit.
We talked about that a lot. Yeah. That cardio and leg day are like intertwined in a healing way.
Yeah, it is. yeah, as I said before, it cuts it down in half, I would say, on your recovery and your soreness as well.
Well, like also, Demitry, he's trying to get his stuff in with me.
Thanks for announcing that. I didn't announce that yet.
Well, you guys start
that's
somewhere.
how it is now.
I can bleep anything.
I have the tools.
I have the
I'm a
powers.
wizard.
Regardless, he is saving leg day for
Tuesday. I've had to move around your time, my schedule, and your schedule are now intertwined with working out, so I have to move things around a little bit.
Yeah, but I stand all day. That's
Yes.
for 12 hours. So
What I recommend, this is my prescription then for that, is after leg day, since you have to do it early the next day, you have to go to work, I would either right after leg day or that night go on a walk for like 20 minutes slow. Just like a slow walk for 20 minutes. I would get a protein shake in as soon as you could after leg day, and then I would also stretch and foam roll, and then that's going to do the most to keep you from being extra sore.
I mean, that's a solution right there. Well, yeah. I'll make sure he does it.
Okay.
And then when he complains the next day, we'll say, like, think about how much worse it could have been.
Everything you just said, fuck that all the way to hell.
Hey, that's your own problem. If you want to be sore, you don't have to be. But we're going to do it, and we're going to suffer the level that we do. We're going to suffer the level that we do. A 20-minute walk, roll out tomorrow, we'll still be sore. So
I mean, you're going to be sore no matter what, but it's like there's levels to it.
Is there... So I guess like when we think about this, we always think like major muscle groups. Yeah. We think like, oh, my ass, my thighs, I can't sit on the toilet, or like my chest hurts. Someone like when your buddy's like punching you in the chest, you're like, like you're dying because it's all knotted up and everything. And if you're me, you have like your back is 80% knots at all times, so you just kind of have to live through life like that. Can you do these kinds of stretches for like smaller muscle groups? Like if your triceps are really hurting, if your biceps are, is it kind of the same thing? Like how would you try to get, like if it had a really heavy arm day, it's a Friday night, you had to look great for the bars that night, but you don't want to suffer Saturday. How do you deal with that?
Well, what I would do is I would first like do, some type of myofascial release, which is like the massage stuff on like your arms, isolating whatever muscle you want to get. So say you did biceps, triceps, you'd want to hit here and then back here as well, up and down the tricep with massage gun or foam roller or something. And then from there, you would want to do some type of stretch over your head and then across your body, across that way for 35 seconds. And then do that like twice, I would say. That's a good kickstart,
So basically, this can work across the entire body, and it does create recovery across the entire body.
It can get it started because like what happens is your muscle, I like to give it a comparison. I don't know if the kids these days can relate with their wireless headphones and everything, but like, remember when you had like your headphones in
your pocket?
In your you'd have your cable headphones, from your iPhone. Yeah. And then those white ones with fucking AirPods on them, and then you would stick it in your pocket, and then you'd pull them out 5 seconds later, and then they were like, yes, a million knots.
You got yourself like, you're a Boy Scout all of a sudden.
Right there. Yeah. So it's like you're like, oh my god, this is gonna take me 15 minutes to undo.
Which is the same for a regular stretching session.
Yes.
You got to roll. Yeah, and it's funny because if you go online, and what'll happen is if you like look up stretching session and someone's going to try and charge you $30 for it. Like I have never seen one that's like shorter than 15 to 20 minutes.
Right.
And man, it is the longest 15 to 20 minutes while you're doing, because A, it's really boring, and B, it's usually quite uncomfortable.
Yeah, kind of painful.
Yeah. But I mean, these things take time. You can't just like wake up in the morning and suddenly it's like, oh yeah, I can touch my toes and feel great. And also it's for back, especially for me, like with deadlifts or anything, it compounds for me. So if I don't stretch or roll out, next week, those knots, it's not like they went anywhere.
Right, that's a good point.
They're just living on my back now. And then I'll have a moment where I'm like, oh, why is my mid back so tight right now? Why is there like this bunch right there? It's like, oh, you built that last week. Like you didn't find a home for it. So now it's just like a wad there.
It's just there until you deload enough for it to go away, or you stretch enough where it recovers.
Which is a lot of people who work in manual labor probably, or where like, especially if you work in like construction or like in any kind of ranch or farm scenario. Or standing up. Exactly. It's like, or even people at desks who are hunched over all the time, your body will slowly contort to the way it thinks it's supposed to be, because you keep doing these things. Your body's like, I guess this is how we do things now. Yeah. So if your back's always jacked up, it's going to just like learn how to be jacked up.
Oh, I got something for you. So I stand also for hours a day at work because I'm, as a good trainer, you're not allowed to sit because
he's just on Heelys constantly.
Yes, I'm just wheeling around the whole gym. But yeah, Jay doesn't want us sitting because, and I agree with that.
Should all get Heelys.
So we're like standing up the whole day. So what I do is I get really sore here and in my ankles and calves. So do you experience that as well?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's like 2 areas that you can definitely focus on for stretching, and that'll help be less sore.
So yeah, there's definitely ways that you can recover and you can work through these things, and it's easy, but it's hard. It's
Right.
okay. Actually, let me say something can be simple, but it can still be difficult.
Right.
And you have to work through it. And am I getting the word that we're coming up to our break?
Oh, you passed already.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and roll into a quick break, and then we're gonna talk about we're gonna get more deep. We're gonna get into like performance, prevention for injuries, and the types of stretches. That could be some stuff that we touch on.
Yes.
Easy peasy. So we will talk to you guys here in just another minute.
See you on the next break.
And again, as always, a word from your sponsors. Us. One day we'll have someone here. It could be you. As always, guys, you can find us at BNS_radio on YouTube. Make sure you check out the podcast. You can find me on Instagram at Demitry Sebastian.
You can find me at WKendall_MFT. Please leave us your questions, like, subscribe, share. If you like the podcast and found something info, send it to your friend.
Send it to your friend.
Yeah.
We love commenter questions.
Yep,
Yes.
exactly.
Questions, please.
Anything you can do if you want to be a part of this, you want to call in, I can make that happen. I have the technology. Get involved. Be a part of this.
Ooh, call in. That would be
Call
fun.
in. I say I can totally do that. It will be a disaster,
Yeah.
but I'll try and make it happen. Either way,
be fun.
you know where to find us.
Dylan call in.
We should have Dylan call in. Like, subscribe, and back to the show.
Oh my God, that'd be funny.
So since we spent 15 minutes talking about recovery,
Yes.
let's go ahead and roll straight into like performance. Can stretching make you better? Can it make you stronger? Because I'll be really upset to hear if the answer is yes.
Well, it can make you perform better at your sports because it can, put you in a place where you can perform it with the correct form, at the correct range of motion. So it's like, say you're a ninjutsu guy or like a taekwondo guy and you have to kick the board at the dude at the dude's face.
Are you a ninja? Are you a samurai?
Say you're training to be John Wick, so,
Exactly.
and you have to kick a target like head level. If
You think John Wick doesn't stretch?
Yeah.
You're wrong.
if you can't get your foot that high, then you got to do something to increase your performance, right?
Yeah, Shredder's gonna come and kill all your Ninja Turtle buddies if you don't show up and come correct.
Exactly.
No, that makes sense.
No,
Yeah.
I love that you use John Wick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess here's a good question.
Okay.
I think a lot of times when we think of lifting, we think of lifestyle, we think of bodybuilding, we think of powerlifting.
Okay.
For athletes, if you're an athlete and you don't understand that you need to stretch, I don't know how to help you at this point. Like, your coaching has already been bad, and we might need to start from scratch. We need to call help. But for like bodybuilders and for powerlifters, is that flexibility going to make them more effective at their sport?
If it's inhibiting you from doing your reps correctly, then yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And also, if that could bleed into if you're doing your incorrect range of motion on your lifts, then you are risking injury.
Actually, I even forgot. I always forget about them. But the CrossFitters, you can't be an effective CrossFit person without a pretty wide range of flexibilities, like wrist flexibility, elbow, shoulder, every single movement that seems to be a part of being in CrossFit and what would be called functional fitness, if you don't want to use the bad word. I think CrossFit is the bad word, because if you say you do CrossFit, like, they might charge you money. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I know about it.
If you use it in vain, then it's like you're saying bad racial word, basically.
Exactly. They are a very they're not a cult. We're not a cult.
No.
Yeah. But it's
Very triggerable.
if you want to be doing stuff like snatches or power clean, stuff like that, you need to be flexible, because a lot of powerlifter dudes like to try and venture into the CrossFit realm. Also, people who do strongman stuff, like the what are they called? Is it the universal press or whatever? Where they, I can't remember what it's called.
Where they go all the way over.
all the way up, like the bar doesn't roll. It's not.
Is it the thick bar?
Yeah, the thick bar. They pull the way up your body over your stomach. That's a very flexible movement.
Yeah, that requires a lot of range of motion, a lot of stability and flexibility, because if you can't, move your joints in that position, not that I'm an expert in it, but it applies to anything, then what happens is you put your joints in a very risky spot. Didn't you tell me that about powerlifting, it's all about locking yourself in the right position and then moving in that in that correct position?
So I don't like to use the term locked in this specific instance because I do say that, but with the flexibility thing, it's being locked into the correct position.
Yeah.
Like we were, when, Silas and I were first talking about deadlifting together, I was telling him, like, you want to sit into it, you want to pop your butt a little bit, you want to get nice and up, you want to keep your chest up, keep your head high.
Right.
And once you figure out that position, you don't want to change it. Like, it's almost like you walk into it every single time. You want it to be the exact same. You want to take out any variables in the movement. Mm-hmm. But if you're not flexible enough to fit into that position in the first place,
right,
you now have gotten yourself locked into the wrong set of movements.
I feel that. Actually gave me like the best compliment of all time.
Yes.
Like, you're exactly like Wes. Like, you refuse to lock out your arm.
Oh yeah, he was doing pull downs, and he was not so locking out because he was actually going way too far down. He was like going up here, and then all the way down. I was like, oh no, stop doing that. I was like, go over here. I was like, your upside perfect. Yeah, yes. The high side is great. The low side, just like right here, just stop right here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's so funny.
There's a way to move around that though, right? Because a lot of people think, oh, well, I got to do the whole range of motion. Mm-hmm. Or like if some people do bench press and they'll like let it sit all the way onto their chest. And there's a place for that. But if you're not flexible enough, you don't have that shoulder flexibility, then you'll never be able to properly do that.
Some people can't even do bench press because they don't have the flexibility for it anymore.
Yeah. And also, another good point is you're going to do weird things with your elbows too. It's like you're like chicken wing all the time. You're like, and then you're suddenly like, oh wait, why are my biceps involved with this chest movement? And it's just like that. I don't know. It's because your body's trying to compensate for the fact that you're not in the right place.
Well, I have clients that have like tight shoulders or tight back muscles where when they do their bench press or their shoulder press, it doesn't hit the muscle. It hits like a smaller muscle or like their trap, and it causes pain. So it's like not only is it shearing and making their joints worse, but it's not even hitting and working out the muscle that they want to work out because they're tight and inflexible in a certain area.
Actually, here's a good question. Should you be doing your stretching based on what you're doing that day and the next day, or should you be doing a full body stretch? Like say we've gotten to the habit of doing a stretching regimen every night. Yeah. Should you adjust it for the day tomorrow, or should it just be a full body thing every time?
I would do some of both. I would have your daily, full body stretch that you do, before your workout. That's like the dynamic stretch I talked about. And then I would also have your specific body part stretch for like your trouble areas.
Yeah.
So it's like for you said your hamstrings are super tight. So it's like, hey,
1 inch long.
1 inch long hamstrings, then that's something twice a week I would try and like stretch, independently.
Okay.
Or additionally.
Yeah, and it's kind of like we talk about like calves and other like abs and stuff. It's like you can sprinkle it in all the time because it's a weakness, and it's not like it prevents you from doing other things.
Right.
That stretching is something that is fun for the whole family, and it doesn't ruin anything. There's no one's ever been like, oh, I stretched too much. I just I stretched my chest too much. Can't do bench today.
Well, if you do it too much before, that's actually like, remember they stopped having us do static stretching in the military?
Yep.
Because people were like, it was shown in studies to decrease your performance and actually potentially set you up for greater injury if you static stretch before working out.
Well, actually, we did talk about that, I think, on the plyometrics episode, but we can bring it up again because it is very important to flexibility in general and stretching. Mm-hmm. So maybe you would say end of workout or the night static.
That's where you want to do. Yes, dynamic. Yes, you're right. You're correct. And one thing I want to note on top of that is, I think myofascial release, which is like the deep tissue stuff, pairs with static stretching. They go together.
So myofascial. Let's kind of hash out. So we're talking like deep tissue massages, rolling,
massage ball, massage gun,
stuff like that. It's when you're kind of getting that like or that rolling out feeling where you're like you're getting the knot, you're pushing on it, and you're like flattening it out.
Muscles are like, electronic rubber bands. They're tight until the signal goes away for it to relax and loosen. And it's like overly tight because it's overly active or like overly stimulated or something. Something's wrong where it's making it overly tight. And you basically have to beat it into submission with whatever you're using until it releases and relaxes.
Well, it's always funny because a lot of guys, myself included, have a lot of knots in their back. And your options are either get someone with Theragun.
Yeah.
Or know somebody who can find the knots in your back and get those out because they're hard. Like I've personally, even I'm like, I have pretty good hand strength, and I'm like, oh my God, like how to get this out? Like I think I'm hurting them, and you kind of are. Or you go and spend like quite a lot because I mean, to go get a deep tissue massage, one that's like actually gonna you a lot of times
like $75, right?
75 to 100. And a lot of times if you want to get a good one that doesn't just not necessarily feel good, but like actually does what you have to go to like a chiropractor who has a massage therapist there.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because to get someone who's going to get all the knots out in the correct way, you're going to want a massage therapist, not someone who just does massages.
Right.
And I don't know what the credibility is on masseuses versus massage therapists. I'm not going to even try and touch that because I'm sure somebody will tell me I'm wrong. But you want to make sure you're talking to somebody who just has an actual understanding, because your girlfriend rubbing your back feels good, but let me tell you what,
probably not enough. 9
times out of 10 you're gonna walk away and like it feels better, but all they've done is like slightly rubbed everything out, and that knot still exists.
Yeah, more bad news. Sometimes it takes multiple times to get it out,
especially if they've been dug in there.
Yeah,
because I've only actually gone to a massage therapist once.
Yeah,
and the person was just like, dude, you carry all of your stress in your back. And I was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then like I walked out of there, and it was almost like my shoulders felt lower because I like am so wadded up right here. And I walked, I was like, wow, this is kind of like weird. Like I feel like I feel like my arms are gonna fall out of the socket because they're like hanging out.
So loose. Yeah.
Yeah, and but I'm not willing to pay that much money all the time, and also I'm lazy / busy. So there are solutions. I would say personally, get someone like your girlfriend, your boyfriend who can like identify a knot, and then use like a Theragun, because those cost like what, $100-$200?
Well, it's even easier than this. The Theraguns are like $100 or so. You can get a massage ball or like one of those, like they make device, like they all look like sex devices. It's hilarious.
Pretty much.
You know, it's like some type of phallic object that people can press into your back that's made for stretching, not sex. And then also, or who says you can't do both? And then basically, it's like it's even easier because you are going to have, most people have the same couple like areas that continually get tight. So it's like, oh, guess what? My shoulders are tight again. Just like last week. You know, so it's like every week just hit the same fucking spot that keeps giving you issues. And then, you know, if one new issue pops up down the road, then you deal with that too. You know,
and it's funny that you talk about the tools. They are all phallic. Yeah. They have like these things that look almost like they're like they almost look like something that you like spread cement out with, but they're soft edge. They're like a scraper. Like you scrape your muscles with those. Yeah. They have the ones that just like we've showed them before on the channel. The gun. They have the rollers. Yeah. You can literally just use a lacrosse ball. Yeah. That you can like lay on it and roll on it.
Different versions of that, bigger and smaller.
They have these goofy hook looking things like balls and thing. It's like Don't you own one of those?
No, my dad does.
I thought I used one at your place because I found it.
Was at my dad's place.
Yeah, it was. Okay. Because I was just like, this is awesome. Like, and they're like $30 because it's just a pressed piece of hard plastic.
Right.
And these things are all great. You don't need to go out of your way. It's just like, it just takes some like learning.
Yes.
And you got to figure it out.
You got to know the muscle groups. That's what it is if you know which muscle groups are connected and associated with what, then you can be like, oh, well, my chest is tight and my shoulders are sore. Well, it's probably my traps or my lats. And then you'll go in there and you'll try and hit. And if you know where those muscles are on your back, then you can have either your girlfriend or a friend do it, and then or use one of those tools.
Another thing is don't be afraid to use the internet. Don't be afraid to talk to a professional about that stuff, because I found out that when I run, my calves are always the thing that goes out first. And I have very developed calves. It's because it turns out that I have incredibly tight hamstrings.
Yeah.
So my hamstrings being really tight then affects my calf. So it's like almost, it feels like they're separate. But if you're like, oh man, like my shoulder really hurts, it could be something like all the way down, halfway down your body.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a lot of people with more medically inclined issues, things that like can't be fixed very simply.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happens in like your spinal column.
Right.
Like you can have a problem in your spinal column that will affect just like the most random portion of your body.
Yeah, all these muscles are connected, and you'll learn which ones are connected based on like, you know, when you're using those massage techniques, once you feel like a really tight, tender, painful area, that's it. That's what you're looking for. Now you have to massage and pay attention to that until it gets looser and more comfortable. And you'll see like, oh, well, my shoulders hurt. Well, that's why my traps have that like knot in it, or my lats are super tight or super sore. Or sometimes it'll be like your chest is tight and then that causes you to have forearm pain right here, or shoulder pain. things like that. And once you realize and get familiar and self-aware enough where you're like, oh, okay, every time I do chest on Monday, on Tuesday and Wednesday, my shoulders and my forearms are going to hurt because my chest is tight, then you have to be proactive, like, hey, maybe Monday night or Tuesday, stretch out my chest.
Yeah. Also, for newer people too, so like I had a back injury from high school.
Yeah.
And the best way that I was able to get rid of that, like I don't have back pain anymore. Why? Because I have a highly developed back.
Right. You strengthen the hell out of it.
Your body being stronger will allow you to not necessarily ignore, but work around inherent weaknesses that you might have. So it's just, if you are feeling like you're having a consistent issue or injury or this and the other, like, first of all, trainer, doctor, always talk to those people. But there are usually solutions. Like, find me one long-term powerlifter or long-term bodybuilder that doesn't have something messed up.
Right.
Like,
every athlete is dealing with some type of injury. That's like so true. It's like a real athlete knows how to, work around and train around whatever they're dealing with because they're always dealing with something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to sort of wrap it up, let's consider. I am okay. Well, actually, say to me, I don't stretch. I don't do that. I work out about 4 to 5 times a week.
Right.
So we'll start Monday. We'll say I'm doing chest that day. I'm gonna wake up on Monday, do work, go to the gym, and then the next day is actually legs. So what should that look like as far as static, dynamic, and potential more of a deep tissue deal?
So I would do your dynamic warm-up before every workout, all 4 or 5 workouts. Then after that, I would identify which muscles, you said it was like your hamstrings or your back or something like that, right? Or did you say your shoulders too?
No, my shoulders are actually pretty good, surprisingly.
Okay, so back and hamstrings. Yep. So on the days that night or the day after you train back or legs, let's say both. Let's do both.
Let's do both.
Stretch out and do myofascial release, foam roll, or massage ball, whatever.
Yep.
Those 2 muscle groups that night or the next day.
Okay.
That's what I do.
And fun fact about the foam rollers, we did talk about how you can use all of these easy stuff.
Yeah.
If you go to Target and there's a $10 foam roller and it feels like something that you would store in Amazon packaging, don't buy it. It's gonna be shitty in like a week and a half. I don't know why they sell these things, because they sell them because they do great and then people never use them.
Yeah.
But that's because it sucks, because your options are like marshmallow or like spiky ball of death.
Right.
And there are in betweens, because they have the ones that have bumps but they're flat.
Yeah.
Those spiky balls of death actually kind of rock.
No, the ones with spiky balls, they hurt, but they're awesome. They're amazing. They help so much, but they really do hurt. And they're really uncomfortable. But there is an in-between, and you'll go on Amazon. You're going to spend a couple bucks on it, but you will not have to replace it again. It's kind of like buying a cheap pair of shoes versus an expensive pair of shoes. If you buy something of quality, it will last longer, and in the long term, you save money, especially if you're actually planning on using it.
Yeah, and you get used to it. Like, you see the people at the gym, say back at Indy, they have different foam rollers. They got the super soft, spongy one.
Yep.
Then they have like the hard foam one, and then they have the extra hard one, which is just a plastic PVC pipe.
Yep.
And it's like, as you get better at it and as you get more advanced in your myofascial release and you get more muscle mass, you'll need to be more aggressive, I guess.
Yeah.
With your stretching like that.
Well, your muscles get denser.
Yeah.
You are literally building up armor. Your muscles are meant to...
It's like tissue.
You know we can hear your phone, right? Yeah? Okay.
Oh, I thought you guys were done.
Did you stop recording?
No, you're still recording.
That's the episode, guys. Thank you very much. Slice is fired. As you guys know, BNS_radio on YouTube. Podcast, it's always there. Sometimes it goes up late because I messed up this week. And we're actually starting to release more content, which I'm very excited about. Wes is looking good. It should actually come out before this one, so check it out.
Good thing we shot it like when I wasn't on the bulk yet.
Exactly. You look nice and lean.
Nice and lean still, you know.
We don't want Wes to be dehydrated when we record, so we'll go ahead and plan it around that.
Yeah.
But as always, thanks, guys. We will talk to you next time.
Thank you.